Shashikant Agarwal, Faculty of Science in SRN International School, and I welcome you all to the official YouTube channel of SRN International School. So today we will be studying about a very important topic in class 8, and that is friction. What is friction? Friction is a force which is being observed when anything is being dragged. Friction is a force that opposes motion. It is present whenever two surfaces rub over each other, such as when you rub your hands together or when you apply the brakes. For example, the brakes of a bike or a car. The forces of friction are the force which work against the motion of a body is termed as a force of friction. Friction always acts in the direction opposite to the direction of the motion and tries to stop or decelerate the body. Now let us study about the types of friction. There can be basically three types of frictional forces, that is static friction, sliding friction and rolling friction. Now what is static friction? The force of friction between the object and the surface of the floor in the position of rest is more and is called as the static friction. Static friction is considered to be the maximum amount of friction. The second term, that is the sliding friction, is comparatively lower than static friction. The force of friction between the same object and the surface of the floor in the sliding position is less and it's called as the sliding friction. The third type of friction is considered to be the minimum amount of friction and is the rolling friction. When an object rolls over the surface of another object, the resistance to its motion is called as the rolling friction. Whenever the rolling friction is there, it is the minimum amount of friction. Now let us study what are the reasons for the force of friction. Irregularities on the contact surfaces get interlocked and oppose the motion of friction. Even the smooth surfaces have some irregularities on them. However, smoother the surface, less is the friction, and deeper the irregularities, more is the friction. Yes, these irregularities cannot be viewed even by naked eyes, but definitely even the smoothest of the surface has got irregularities because of which the friction force is developed. Let us now talk about the factors affecting friction. The force with which two surfaces are pressed together or the nature of surfaces. It can be smooth, then it is low friction, and if the surface is rough, then it is high friction. Now, what are the harmful effects of friction? Children, you must have observed that whenever the frictional forces are high, it results in wear and tear of the machinery. Yes, there is development of heat energy which finally degrades the machine parts. So, friction results in overconsumption of fuel which further adds to the cost of running vehicle. Thus, friction results in higher consumption of energy. Friction generates heat. Therefore, to avoid overheating, running machines should be pre-installed with cooling systems. Friction results in wearing out of the rubbing surfaces. The metallic parts of the machine wear out on rubbing against one another, and that's why we use engine oil in our vehicle in order to avoid the frictional force. Now, what are the advantages of friction? Children, have you ever wondered that on an oily sheet of paper you can't write? The frictional force is very important. It enables you to walk. Yes, we have learned that the friction has many disadvantages and harmful effects, but friction is also called as the necessary evil. It is the friction which keeps everything on the earth on its place. Walking on a glassy smooth surface or an oily hot surface is difficult and we can slip over there. Another common example is that we have already discussed, we can't write on the oily sheet. The friction enables a car to move on a road without skidding. Now, what are the measures to reduce friction? Friction is reduced by making the surfaces smooth, by polishing the surfaces, by reducing the area of contact between the two rubbing surfaces, use of ball bearings, inflated tires and tubes, lubrication of the moving parts, and streamlining of the shape of an object are the some of the very important measures which can reduce frictional force a lot. Methods to increase friction. Yes, sometimes it is required to increase friction. For example, the time of playing games. We require the shoes which have a due grip on the ground. Yes, on application of brakes. The brakes should be applied immediately in order to avoid any kind of accident. The soles of our shoes are invariably provided with grooves to make surfaces rough. Tires, wheels on the vehicles are covered with the layers of thick grooved rubber sheets and grooves. They provide better grip and increased friction between the surface of the wheel and road to help movement. Now, thank you very much. And if you actually like the slide, the videos, then please share and subscribe the video. And I'll be coming with more interesting videos in the coming time. Thank you so much for being a very good and patient spectator.